Matthew Movies coming back at you, and this time I'm going to be touching on another one of my all-time favorite movies. This time I'm up to number 17. When's the madness going to stop? How high is this thing going to go? Even I don't know. I'm going to be talking about Back to the Future Part 2. When I talked about Back to the Future Part 1, it was earlier in my list, and when I talked about it, I kind of grouped it together with Star Wars because I was like, what can I say about this movie that hasn't already been said a million times over? I mean, who doesn't love this movie? And if you watch, honestly, I don't even understand how somebody could watch these movies, and I'm not even going to say not like them. I'm going to say not love them. They're so endearing. The characters are so lovable. The stories are so cool and interesting. And I think all that applies to the second one. Now, I will say that the second one and the third one have elements that aren't nearly as good as the first one. Like, I think a lot of the stuff in the future in part 2 isn't great. I don't mind. All the stuff in the city, I don't mind. I mean, it's kitschy and terrible and stupid, and like Jaws 19 is a really obvious joke. But, you know, it's still funny for what it is, right? But when they get to, like, the McFly house, I think a lot of that is pretty awful. But the rest of the movie, I love. I love Evil Biff's version of the city back in, like, the modern time in that movie, so like the 80s. I love how they go back into the first movie, like back into the past, not Back to the Future. I mean, I know it resulted in a lawsuit between Crispin Glover and Steven Spielberg, but I don't care about the legal ramifications. I think it's rather cool that you see the shots from different angles and you see Marty back there trying to not get in the way of Marty from the first one, but still making sure that Marty from the first one succeeds and all that stuff, and trying to get the Gray's Sports Almanac. Like, I loved all of that. You know, Marty, you're not thinking fourth dimensionally and all that. Like, I just love this movie so much. The shoes with the laces, I mean, there's so much I could point to in this movie that is just great. I did always dislike the fact that they recast Jennifer with Elizabeth Shue. I like Elizabeth Shue as an actress. She's in a lot of great stuff, but she's not Jennifer to me. She's just some lady pretending to be Jennifer. And I guess that applies to all actresses ever, but there was a lady who was Jennifer in my mind, and that'll always be the woman from the first movie. So I you know, that always bothered me a little bit too, but it's funny. This is how much you can tell how much I love the stuff I love about this movie. I could sit here and talk about a few things that I don't like, more than a few things even probably, that I don't like about this movie, because there are several elements that I think aren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But I love the rest of it so much that I still consider this my 17th favorite movie of all time, above other movies that I can find far less to complain about, because that's how much I love the story, the characters, everything else about it. Back to the Future, you're my jam. You won't find Back to the Future Part 3 on this list anytime soon. I'm not nearly as enthralled with that one. I still enjoy it, obviously, but not nearly as much as the first two. But you know, it's such a great trilogy of films. So I'm going to drop it off there, because again, you know, what can you say about these movies that hasn't been said before? But if you're new to my channel, please subscribe below and comment below. Let me know if you love Back to the Future Part 2, but where you put it in the quality ranking of the trilogy, all that kind of stuff. Anything you have to say about Back to the Future 2, right down there. And please subscribe. And other than that, hey, do me a favor, have a nice day.